when we were talking about this, I do remember something from here. It was 1952. I wrote a story about it. Was reminded of it at my father-in-law, Larry Kuzniar. He was the former head coach of UAD Jesuit soccer. And at his funeral, a black man stood up to talk about a story. They played at, it was Wayne University at the time, Wayne Tartars. And they played on the football team, and they had to go to Washington University in St. Louis to play because they were in the same conference, not really realizing 1952 that there was Jim Crow. And they take a train and the bus to the hotel, and it's a segregated hotel. No black people. So some arrangement is made. There's, I think there are 5 black players and 35 white players, and some arrangement was made that the black guys could stay in the hotel if they went up in the freight elevator. So a discussion was had on the bus, and what the team came to was, if one has to go up in the elevator, we all go up in the elevator together, right? Because there's no other place to stay. Otherwise, I don't know what they would have done. But it was nice. I'm really, and they all knew how segregated Detroit was, because until 1950, it was legal in this state to ban Jews and blacks from particular areas. It's just a fact. And but a bunch of young men. This is 5 years before Jerry's over here on. It's 3 years before Rosa Parks refuses to give up her seat. It's 5 years when the 101st Airborne has to come into Little Rock. It's 15 years before the segregation comes to a head in Detroit, and it erupts in an orgy of flames. That some young men playing football found it within themselves to be men together.
But that's also credit to the coach, Charlie, because as you were talking about Harbaugh, when you were talking about Tucker, sometimes instances coaches are surrogate fathers. They may be fathers, period. You don't know what the home is like. The father could be present but absent. And so that's a lesson of character that they absorbed or at least respected from that coach. And so you have to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, and the man that told me about it, the black man, many, many years later, I believe his name was Egbert Richmond. He is in the Wayne State Athletic Hall of Fame. He was a high school coach at Mackenzie. Larry, my father-in-law, he was a high school coach. So that's what sports to me, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit.
That's okay.
I'm very proud to be associated with men like that. I'm hoping I can carry some of that, because to me, ultimately, that's what it's about. Yeah.
And I think that's why, we can take this almost full circle in terms of the importance of sports. Not just the monetary side of it, but I remember I saw a show where I guess Snoop Dogg did a redo of the coach for his kids' football team, and everybody was talking about how this guy sacrificed so much and what he meant, not just to the young men that he coached, but to the community at large, and the impact, the residual impact that a positive coach can have on a family, on a person, on a community, on a society, on a people. So it resonates. So yeah, there is value in it.
Plus, being on a team teaches you to deal with other people for a common goal, which I think a lot of people could get something out of.
You're right.
How to get along with somebody maybe you otherwise don't. I noticed that in newsrooms, like you can tell they didn't play a lot of sports, not because of their physical grace, but because it's so mean and team-like.
Well, and just like us, we're a team. Everybody plays a part, and for a shared goal. And I think that more people need to really think like that on the larger scale when we talk about community and a society and the impact that it has on everybody else. People tend to think about what it means to them. And it's not always about what it means for you, but what about the person behind you? What about the person that comes after you? What about somebody else? It's a collective benefit.
By the way, I was just looking, because I wanted it right. Albert Richmond. And Larry Kuzniar, 1952. A lot to be proud of there. They were behaving better than the adults.
Did they win?
They lost 13-12.
Okay.
They missed 2 extra points.
Oh, what are they, What are they, the Spartans?
Fire the coach! Fire the coach! I don't care what he's teaching them. I don't care. Racial brotherhood and equality. That's garbage. We need a win.
Hey, Mark needs to be fired. He said, what are they, the Spartans?
They had some kicker trouble. It's crazy.
Yeah, whatever.
You know what I hear a lot? Charlie LeDuff newsman. I thought you were dead. I'm not dead. I'm doing the news. The real news. Right here. The No BS News Hour. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, Odyssey, or download it wherever you get your podcasts. Power the people.